I'm using a 1 litre UHT milk carton for this decoration. So what I've done is I've marked in 1 centimetre on the sides, and we're going to be cutting out this whole little section. So you want to do it on all the sides. However, on my boxes, on the top it's got a fold over, so I'm not doing this side until I've done the other sides. So I've done one side, and now I'm just going to cut the other side. And when we get to this side, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm starting them off with a box cutter, and then I'm going to use a pair of scissors to cut the others out. So now for the side that has got these on them, I'm just pulling them up and then collapsing the box inward, and then we're going to cut the top off. So that our box opens out like that. And then I'm cutting them just in the corner. And then just folding them back under, so we've got something to glue onto when we glue it to the next piece of cardboard. So now that we've cut the top part, we can cut the same small little piece out in the middle like we've done with these ones. I've got all my panels cut out, and now I'm taking these, which are the large skewers, and I'm just going to be placing one in each corner of the box like that. And then just cutting them to size. I'm just using my angle tool to do that. And then just cut all of them for the corners. I'm using hot glue to glue them all in. I've got some cardboard that is 1/2 centimetre thick, so I'm going to be cutting 8 pieces at 9.5 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres, so I can use it for the base like that, and then one for the top as well. I've got all my pieces of cardboard cut, so I've got 8 pieces of 9.5 by 9.5. I've got 2 pieces at 6 by 6, and I've got 2 pieces which are 3 by 3. And then we're going to glue them together. I'm using hot glue to do this. And then I'm going to take some masking tape and go around all the edges so you don't see all this ugliness. I'm gluing all the sticks into the corner of the boxes now. And then just glue them all in. I'm gluing the bases onto the little lanterns now. I'm using the part that is still fixed to glue these ones on, and then we'll cut another piece of cardboard and place it on the inside here to balance this out so we can put our candle in there. I'm cutting little strips of cardboard which are 2 centimetres wide so that I can level. As you can see, it raises slightly here in the middle, so I'm putting them just on the side here, and then I'm going to glue that down and then glue another piece of cardboard over the top of that. I'm going to be using the boxes from soft drinks cans, which is a nice thin cardboard to do that. I've cut my little piece of cardboard, and now I can just put it in there and glue it down so we've got a nice flat surface for the candle to sit on. I've glued the base and all the little pieces, and now I'm going to glue these tabs down so we can glue our top cover on top of that. Now we can glue our other little piece into the center of this one. I've glued all my little pieces on, so that's what our little piece looks like, And now I'm just going to be using some toilet paper and my homemade paper-mâché glue, and I'm going to cover the whole thing inside and out with the paper-mâché. And then just cover them all. To make the base for my lanterns, I'm just using some packaging, and I'm marking at 8.5 centimeters for as many pieces I can get. So I want to get 4 pieces, but there's going to be a bit short on this one, so we're going to go with the 3 pieces, and then we'll add the extra one on. And from the top I'm going down 1 centimeter, and then by 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, and then down by 1 again. I'm just going to score all those lines. I'm using the tip of my scissors to just score the lines. I've scored all my lines going down by 1 centimeter on each of them. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th one I'm cutting my cardboard off. And now we're going to bend the top one under on the score line. And the bottom one. And now I'm going to cut a strip which is 1 centimeter, which I'm going to be gluing on the first line that we've just done. I've got all my pieces cut out, and now I'm going to be taking the 1 centimeter strip and gluing it on the second line that we scored. I find the easiest way to do a thin strip like this is to just take your piece, put it on top of your glue stick, and then just pull your cardboard and it glues all of it for you. So in this particular one I've got 3 pieces, and on the next one I've also got 3 pieces, and I'm going to glue the same little piece of cardboard along there as well, so that we can join to get the 4th piece in. I've got another piece of cardboard, and I'm measuring this particular one at, I've done sort of like a 45-degree angle on the side of the one. So I'm measuring from the top of the 45 to the middle of my next piece. And that particular measurement is 9.5 centimeters to the center point. And on the center point, I'm making it go out so that we've got 0.5 centimeter on either side of that. And doing that so that we've got 4 panels like that. And then we're going to score along all those lines. I've got it all scored like that so that they collapse in like that to make that sort of like angle. And I've cut 45-degree angles so I can get a straight corner on these ones. And now we're just going to glue this one together. I've glued my pieces together. So I've got both of them, and now I'm going to be gluing one on top of the other. When you're gluing it in, make sure that you've got the little piece that we glued on at the top. I've got the base all glued together like that. I've got this nylon cord, which is about a 2mm nylon cord. Once I've glued it all together, I'm going to take the cord and put one piece along the bottom and another one along the top. I've got a small piece of paper and I'm just lining it up onto the bottom part of the lantern so that I can get the marking just there for me to do a design in the bottom section here. So that's taking into account that we're putting these ropes on after I've painted the whole thing. So I'm going to be going with a very, very simple design. And it's folding my piece of paper in half. And I've just drawn some lines so that I can do my design on there. So as I said, a very, very plain, simple design. I'm starting in the middle and then just going to make so something plain and simple like that. So as I said, I folded it in half so the design will come this side as well. So I just copy the design onto that side like that. So this is going to go at the bottom of the lantern. I'm using pearl white to paint my whole piece. To do my design, I'm trying out this new puff paint. So I'm not sure whether it's going to look like, so I've done a wee bit there. As you can see, it's slightly raised, which is all I'm looking for. So I'm going to be going around my box in between the lines here. It's a little bit difficult to work with. It hasn't given me as smooth a finish as I would like, but I'm quite happy with what it looks like. I've glued all the pieces on, so we've got 1, 2, 3 of the rope. I've got my pattern in, and now I'm using these tiny little findings, and I'm going to be gluing them on with T8000. You can measure, I'm just eyeballing them, and I'm gluing them all along the score line that we did on these. And then just glue them all the way around. Now that the paint is dry on my embossing, I'm using this rich gold paint, which is that colour. So on all the embossing that we did, I'm just taking a very small, fine paintbrush like that and going over all the embossing. I'm using some of my thick cardboard, which is a 1/2 centimetre thick, and I've cut it at 12 centimetres by 12 centimetres and just taped all around the edges. And now we're going to take that piece and glue it onto the bottom. The other thing I've done is I've taken the cord and gone around the base of the lantern and around the top part, just the bottom one of the top of the lantern. I've glued all the bases together, and now we can glue the lantern on top of the base. Try and line it up the best that you can. I've got 2 size 10mm beads, which are pearls, and I'm going to be gluing 1 on the top of each of the lanterns. To get the center point, I'm just marking from corner to corner, putting a small line there, and going in the opposite direction, putting a small line there as well. So now I've got my center point to glue my bead onto. I'm going to be gluing it on with T8000. I'm gluing the bead so that the holes are sticking outward, so that if I want to put a loop through them, I can. If you wanted just a lantern and you wanted to leave it just as is, it's rather attractive like that as well. But because this is going to be a Christmas one, I'm going to be putting some Christmas decorations on it. I've got this beautiful gold glitter leaf decoration, which I'm going to be cutting up and placing onto the lanterns. I'm cutting some of the pieces off so that I can start using them. I've taken one of the leaves and I've cut small pieces off like that, and I'm using just some of the little balls. I don't want too many decorations on it because I want it to be just very, very plain and simple, because it's quite fancy as it is just like that. I'm doing one on the left and one on the right on the other lantern. I'm just taking a few of the pieces and placing them onto my lantern. I decided to put an extra ball on because we're just looking a little bit spare, so that's what it looks like now. Pretty happy how that's turned out. To finish it off, I've got this cellophane, and all I'm going to be doing is cutting a small piece and sticking it at the top underneath to cover up all my work. I'm sticking that down with a glue stick. As I said for the other one, I'm gluing on the right hand side of this one. I bought these rather nice tea light candles. They just got the little batteries in the back, but these ones sort of like flash a little bit so that they look like a candle burning, which is what I'm going to be using. The lanterns are completed now, and as you can see, I've got one that is going on the left and the other one has got it on the right, and these ones are going to be placed at the ends of my buffet table, and that's why I wanted them in different directions, so that's what they look like completed. Thank you so much for watching.